It's a quiet, dark morning outside, and unfortunately it's been quiet and dark for most of my training sessions, so I haven't gotten as much on film as I'd like, but I am making progress with the new guy. He is a shy, sweet little Mustang. He's got a little white star and a snip. He's a dark coat color. He's 4 years old. He's from Arizona, and he's a little gelding. So this year we had the opportunity to pick our horses. I tried not to overthink it, as normally I'd get luck of the draw anyway. And when I got up to the holding pens, I was just looking for a younger gelding, because that's kind of my preferred type of horse to mess with. I got my little geldings lined up. There were like 2 or 3 to choose from, and of the geldings, he was the most unfamiliar to me in terms of his personality. The other ones I got a pretty good read on. They reminded me quite a bit of horses I've worked in the past, with their behaviors, the looks on their eyes, the way they moved about the other horses, all that. I decided to go with something new this year. Even though he didn't have as much draw to him, because he wasn't as boisterous or flighty, he didn't move around a whole lot, there was just something about his eye and his sweet little face that really got my attention. I also really liked the slope of his shoulder. He had a cute face on him, so I thought, why not give this little guy a chance? He seems like he'd be a good draw. And whatever he turns out to be is what I'll get, and I will train him the best either way. I figure the more I can learn, the better. So we brought him home and got him in the pens. We also picked up a youth Mustang for one of my students, Lauren, and she is making great strides with her little 2-year-old. More to come on him, I'm sure, eventually. He is doing absolutely phenomenally. My guy's a little bit more on the shy side, and I don't have quite as many hours in the day due to the fact that I am also working a full-time job now on top of managing all my client horses. So I've been doing my best to get up an hour earlier, come out here and work with him, and stay out an hour later every evening so that he's getting the time that he needs to have success.
So I went in and I started putting pressure on him, mental pressure from a distance, and I would just hold my hand out, and as he would trot around and kind of look at outside the pen and just ignore me while he was trotting around, he was obviously very upset and very scared. But I just kept that pressure on him till he looked at me, even the slightest bit. One ear, one turn of the head. Even if it was more of just a turn towards me because he was trying to go the other way, I'd give him a quick and huge release on that. I did that over and over again until he really started to connect that turning and facing me, looking at me, would get him a release. That release was the thing he was seeking. He wants to be left alone. He didn't want to engage. But by encouraging him to come towards you with a release, he started to figure that out pretty well. So I would just put the pressure on him, hold it, and then I would release when he came to me, and I'd just take that step back, get out of his space, give him a chance to think and process that. Soon he learned to stand still. As I would do the same thing, I'd follow him until he stood still. And the next step was working on touching him. So I would go up and press in as close as he was comfortable. I could always tell when he put up a barrier if he was feeling scared. He didn't run and jump around like Lady was, but he definitely was still just as scared. And then so using that method, I was able to work up to him very quickly. Same thing that I learned from Lady, but I'm getting a little bit quicker, I guess, and this guy is a little more loose, so he stands still a little more tolerantly.
I'm experimenting. Last year I kind of discouraged the head tossing on the horses because it felt a little aggressive to me the way they came forward. But he's so shy, I'd like him to come out of his shell a little bit more, so I've been working on building his confidence, giving him some releases when he sticks his nose out and kind of noses at me, because that has been turning into forward motion with him. And that forward motion is what I need for him to come out of his shell. Because if I push into him too much, he gets very inside of himself and he'll stand there and kind of shut down in the corner. I'm trying to avoid that because you get them shut down in the corner and you can get so close, but then you're right up on them when they spook. And I'd like to avoid that a little bit and get him actually coming to me and engaging. So yesterday we actually did. I got him to come up to me. He touched my hand and it was just great. So I'm going to work on that again today and see how it goes. Alright, so it is day 5. I just filmed a short video for, I don't know, later on in the series, we'll see. But I believe it's day 5. It's Tuesday. My goodness, it's Saturday. We got him on Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday. It is day 5. I started training on Wednesday. On Wednesday, I was just able to get into the pen. I'll put a little bit of that in here. So when we first got into the pen with him, he's very shy, he's very introverted. I chose this little Mustang because he kind of called out to me in a way. I don't know, I just looked into his eyes and I didn't think with my brain, I thought with my emotions on this one. I saw something in him that I hadn't seen before in one of the Mustangs that I've trained. I've seen it before in a few other horses, which is where he's very quiet, very introverted. He's not really a spooky one. He's a Mustang, so he's a little bit spooky, but he's not one of the really, really flighty ones, and he's also not one of the really aggressively social or aggressive horses. So something about him just intrigued me and called out to me. So I chose this little guy, and I've just been working on teaching him to come out of his shell because he tends to stay put when you come towards him until you press to a certain degree. So you think he's comfortable, but in reality he's just frozen. If you really look, he's kind of shivering in place, and he's just very uncertain with the whole thing. So I can push in pretty close to him, but then he blows right at the last minute before I'm about to touch him. And he'll trot away and kind of get out of the area, and then he'll go stand in a different corner and shiver. So in order to combat this, I've been teaching him to come up to me, similar to what I do with all the rest of my Mustangs. I kind of come out here, I press into his space bubble, and I wait till he kind of looks at me nice and softly. Right there, that's really good. So then I release. Right there, he pops his foot up into a nice resting position. He's got a nice level top line there. He's just kind of chilling. He's relaxing. He's pretty comfortable with me in the pen at this point. So then I'm going to go in again. I'm going to push till he's a little less comfortable. Right there where he comes towards me. Great big release. Really encouraging that because I really want him to feel that bravery. I really want him to get brave and confident and come join me. I don't want a shut down friend. I want a really comfortable, excited friend. So I'm going to press into his space bubble again. Right there he sees me. So I pause for a minute. He acknowledges me. And look at how just relaxed and quiet he is. I absolutely love this about him. So right there he kind of bobs his head a little bit. He's getting a better view of me. And he's kind of uncomfortable. That's kind of him saying that. And then he goes to leave. So I'm going to put the pressure back on him when he leaves. And when he recovers from that and gives me a nice step towards me, I'm going to give him a bigger release than I would have if he had not freaked out and recovered. Because what they'll do is you'll push them a little bit further than they're comfortable. And when you do that, a lot of times they'll pop out of that comfort zone. Sometimes they don't recover from that. So as soon as they give you the wee bit of recovery, you want to really reward that behavior because that is what you're looking for. You're shaping them to be able to handle stress and come back to you from it. Because no matter what you train your horse to do, they're always going to find something stressful. And a horse that's just been sacked out and deadheaded is still going to eventually find something to spook at. And if he doesn't know how to recover from that, you're going to be in trouble. Whereas if you have a horse that's kind of new at everything, but you've taught him to come back to you, he's going to recover really, really nicely. So I'm going to just keep working on that recovery. Right there, he's a little less comfortable, but he's stuck around. And some licking and chewing. I give him a subtle release here. I'm not going to back all the way off, but I am going to give him a slight release of that mental pressure of my arm reaching out. So I'm going to come in again, Right there, I'm pushing him through that discomfort. He came back, give him a little release. You can always see that discomfort when he looks away. He's kind of looking to leave the situation. He wants to shut down a little bit, turn his tail to me. Good boy. He took a nice step towards me there.